I'd like to call to order the Lewis County Board of County Commissioners meeting of December 21st. We have a quorum with all three commissioners present. Flag salute. Commissioner Schulte, would you like to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the December 14, 2015 BOCC minutes.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of December 14th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment. We have a 3-minute public comment from Steve Mansfield.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Mansfield, Emergency Management. I'm here for my 3-minute update on the flood.
There's only 3 today.
It's only 3 today, Ron. All right. I'm sticking with the game plan, all right? A couple things I wanted you to know. We're right in the middle of the damage reporting, both for the public assistance and individual assistance programs. We've got almost $1.6 million on the record right now for public assistance damage reporting, which includes debris cleanup, permanent repairs, and emergency measures. However, this morning I was informed that it looks like the Morton water supply system is being evaluated today. I've been in contact with state EMD. They are sending a team up there right now. It looks like approximately $1.7 to possibly $2 million worth of repair work that needs to be done there. This is a result of repair work that was done in 2007, and it's starting to come undone again. So we've got an issue there with their water supply system with the lines that needs to be addressed immediately. Also, last week, I worked with the city of PL. They also have some issues on the upper Lester Creek, which is where their main water supply comes from. They've had slides and some very precarious situations as far as their people being able to get in and out of there to clean out their intake and whatnot. So they'll be coming. I'll be meeting with state EMD tomorrow out in PL to draw up a game plan for what we'll be able to do with that.
What time is that meeting?
Pardon?
What time is that meeting?
I'm supposed to be there between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. You're more than welcome to come. They have limited access to get up there. You got about a mile and a half that I'll probably have to walk while I let the people go in the little tote goat for the city. So,
Where are you going to meet first?
at City Hall,
I'll probably be there at that meeting. What time is that?
not between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. But if they don't show up till 10:30, 11, expect that. But I'm trying to hold them to that time frame at this point. So with those two projects, you're going to add substantial dollars to the initial public assistance reporting program. We've already got our numbers. The state's got our numbers to meet their thresholds, and so they'll probably be moving forward with this, and they're being very aggressive on it. The state is, as far as trying to get that declaration. As far as the individual assistance, we currently have, there's a change in the little briefing sheet that I gave you there. There's 39 homes. We got another home this morning that was a complete loss, so we got a total of 5 homes, not 4, that are complete loss. However, the minimum requirements are 25 homes or more with at least 40% damage to those homes, and we're not meeting that threshold yet. We're still working on it. We're gathering a lot of information. I'm still getting a lot of information out in the field from the assessor's office, Public Works, our building department, community development, and our road patrols. So we're trying to gather, analyze, and determine exactly where we are on the individual assistance. This will take time. Both these programs will take time to gather those numbers, and it's a work in progress. It will continue now for the next couple months. And then on another note, real quick, so you know this, I thought I'd bring this up. We have a wind advisory, sustained winds at 30 miles an hour, gusts to 50, 55 miles an hour. That's for today between 12 and 4. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because we currently have super saturated ground out there, and our average rainfall for this time of year is 7.3 inches, and we're at 12.21 for the month of December. So we could have some more wind damage, and once again, we're not even midway through this season yet, and we're seeing a lot of activity. But according to the National Weather Service, this is a super dry El Nino year, and we shouldn't have any further problems.
Yes, right. Thank
I
you.
got an update from Ted Beener on that the other day, and you can look at it on YouTube if you don't believe me.
Okay.
Questions?
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the notice agenda, 2 items, resolution number 15-371 and 15-372.
I second.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Amanda Migliaccio, Financial Analyst Senior in the Auditor's Office, speaking on item number 1, Resolution 15-371, notice pertaining to competitive bidding, dispensing with advertisement, and formal sealed bidding with respect to purchases and leases under $25,000. This resolution is to give notice of the county's vendor list and solicit names for addition to that list in accordance with RCW 39.04.190. As part of the policy established by Resolution 12-196, the notice and solicitation has to occur twice a year in order for the county to use telephonic or written quotes in lieu of advertisement and formal sealed billings for purchases between $5,000 and $25,000. Any questions?
Thank you. Mr. Elsey.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Elsey, Public Works Director, speaking to item number 2 on your agenda. And this resolution will set a hearing date of January 11th to consider approving a proposed development agreement between Benaroya Capital Company, LLC, and Lewis County. And this is to allow them to have predictability in developing a property that they have outside of Wenlock. It's within the Wenlock UGA. Within the UGA, Wenlock is responsible for some areas of development, while as a part of the interlocal agreement, Lewis County retains jurisdiction over some areas of the development as well. Lewis County currently retains jurisdiction over development and improvements of the roadways. So the interlocal agreement includes stormwater improvements, some improvements to North Military Road, and also shows Mickelson Parkway and the improvements that will be needed for that. It provides for Benaroya Company, or at least this development property, to have 4 accesses on the east side of North Military Road and 2 on the west side of North Military Road, but it protects the middle school and the high school from additional trucks by only allowing, there's 1 access for trucks, and those trucks will be required to go north from that intersection, so going to the Avery Road intersection. So there's certainly been some give and take in developing this agreement. I think it's worked out very well for both parties. This does not cover any other improvements that are going to be required as part of this development, such as the improvements to State Highway 505, a passing lane that WashDOT has mentioned will be required for this, any improvements to the interchange down at the bottom of the hill, or the intersections on State Highway 505, including Knowles Road, South Military Road, and North Military Road. Also doesn't take into account any of the requirements to bring water and sewer to the site or anything like that. So this is just a development agreement for the requirements that the county has to provide for predictability for this particular developer.
And water and sewer, isn't that the city of Wenlock's responsibility?
That's correct. The city of Wenlock, they'll need to get water and sewer out to the property from the city of Wenlock, or have their own water rights and figure out another way to handle it. But with them being within the UGA, the city is the entity that is currently tasked with serving them with sewer and water.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the notice agenda, items 1 and 2, resolution number 15-371 and 372. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda, 7 items from 3 through 10, resolution number 15-373 to resolution number 15-380.
I second.
Hello again. Amanda Migliaccio, Auditor's Office, speaking on items number 3 and 4. Resolution 15-373 is the weekly approval of warrants, and this week we also had payroll. So for the week of December 14th through 18th, there were 294 regular warrants, which were warrants number 738175 through 738269, 738509 through 738707. And these were in a total amount of $517,763.56. In addition, the payroll was 239 warrants, which were dated December 18th, 2015. Those were numbers 738270 through 738508. And they were in a total amount of $70,000, $545.00. Item number 4 is Resolution 15-274, and it is to cancel a warrant, warrant number 737188, which was billed by the vendors and certified by the department in error. The warrant was returned by the vendor and now needs to be voided. Any questions?
Questions?
Just one statement, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Last week, Business Week was held at the college for WF West and Centralia High School juniors, and Amanda was a company advisor for one of those, and she did an impressive job. And out of the 3 categories that they're evaluated in, her team came in number 1 in the presentation, and she was pretty impressive. Was this the first time you did that?
It was.
And I thank you for doing that and for doing such a good job. And I heard quite a few compliments for how you handled your teams. So thank you for putting your time into that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have a good time doing it?
I did. It was a lot of fun. It was a little overwhelming the first day being in charge of 14 high schoolers, but it was good.
You've forgotten those days already?
Yeah. It gives a whole new appreciation for high school teachers.
What were there, 28 advisors
Yeah,
altogether?
there were quite a few.
And it was, each evening they would meet and talk about how their day went. And you would hear a lot of the advisors said, I lost control of the kids, or they didn't listen to me. Amanda didn't have any of those problems.
They were good kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Kevin Hansen, Chief of Corrections for the Lewis County Sheriff. I'm here to speak today on item number 5, which is resolution number 15-375. This resolution approves a renewal contract between Olympia City Jail and the Olympia City Jail and the Lewis County Sheriff's Office, and the Thurston County Jail and the Lewis County Sheriff's Office. There's 2 contracts. Generally speaking, the contracts increase the daily bed rate 15%. So we went from $52.50 a day to $60.88 a day. Also, we included language new this year regarding the Prison Rape Elimination Act. And those contracts have been signed by the respective agencies and are ready to move forward. Questions?
Questions? Comments?
Okay.
Before you leave, I want to acknowledge the good progress you folks have made in the mental health alternative, and you had a graduate that was highlighted last week.
Yes, we did. It was pretty impressive.
Want to give a little synopsis about that?
The person, well, I guess we can say his name because his name is in the paper. Steve Fullerton has been a client with the Sheriff's Office for years and years and years, and he was a difficult prisoner, to say the least. Unfortunately, he suffered from mental illness, and we had to come up with a way to try to deal with him. And so the inception of the Mental Health Alternative Program, which is a post-conviction sentencing program, kind of came about through trial and error with Mr. Fullerton. And what the courts and the judge and prosecutor did is they suspended jail time. So he had committed a felony and multiple felonies. He's been in and out of jail, I don't know, dozens and dozens of times in the last 10
Like
years.
30 years, isn't it?
Yeah. And he had committed a felony, and we kind of were banging our heads against the wall, saying, what are we going to do, what are we going to do, what are we going to do? And the prosecutor decided that he was going to suspend his jail time and institute conditions of release. And those conditions of release were, hey, Steve, you got to take your meds. You got to comply with mental health treatment. You got to report to your mental health counselor. You got to have a place to live, and you got to stay out of trouble. And so the med part was the biggest piece of that, is the med compliance. And he ended up taking his meds, and he went to court every week to check in. And Cascade Mental Health did an absolutely fantastic job of monitoring him and supervising him. And here we are today, almost 2 years later, and he hasn't been back to jail. But he had one violation, which he spent a couple of days in jail. He's self-admitted, but other than that, he's a productive member of our community. He's living gracefully amongst us, and it's just amazing. So,
Thank you for your work on that.
yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Elsey.
Good morning again. Tim Elsey, Public Works Director, speaking to items 6 and 7 on your consent agenda. Item number 6 is resolution number 15-376, approving a master interlocal agreement between Lewis County and other governmental agencies. This resolution will allow Lewis County to enter into master interlocal agreements with the City of Centralia, the City of Tumwater, and the Washington State Parks and Recreation Commission, which will govern reimbursable work performed by Public Works forces for which the other governmental agencies do not have the capability to perform. These master interlocal agreements will replace existing agreements that will expire December 31st, 2015. The term of the new agreements will be for a period of 5 years and expire on December 31st, 2020.
Comments? Okay. Thank you.
The next item is item number 7, resolution number 15-377, approving a project agreement for office-administered programs with the State of Washington Recreation and Conservation Office for the Scammon Creek Barrier Removal Project. I'm pulling this up. This project was awarded funds to the RCO, or the Recreation and Conservation Office, for the Washington Coast Restoration Initiative in the amount of $184,240. The Scammon Creek Barrier Removal Project is funded for a restoration project to replace 2 existing side-by-side cast-in-place box culverts, which are 41.5 feet in length, 10 feet in width, 9 feet in height, located at milepost 1.01. Basically, it's at the Scammon Creek intersection with Graff Road. The culverts are estimated to be 33% passable and were ranked 4th for replacement within the Middle Chehalis Basin Watershed Culvert Assessment and 1st for replacement by Lewis County. When completed, the project goal will restore salmon access to an additional 10.98 linear miles of potential habitat, 0.19 acres of spawning habitat, and 4.66 acres of rearing habitat for coho salmon, sea run cutthroat, and resident cutthroat trout. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, thank you.
April Kelly, Social Services Manager, speaking to number 8 and 9. Resolution number 15-378, approving consolidated homeless grant agreement with Washington State Department of Commerce. This is the biannual contract that we get with Department of Commerce for housing services.
And it's nice, it is starting on January 1st,
Yes.
2016. We're not backdating. Yep.
Item number 9, resolution number 15-379, approving contract amendment number 1 with Department of Social and Health Services, Division of Behavioral Health and Recovery. This amendment just corrects and adds some language to the contract that was left out of the previous contract.
Okay. Questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Steve Mansfield, Emergency Management. I'm here to speak on item number 10, Resolution 15-380. This is our annual Emergency Management Planning Grant in the amount of $47,204, which we spend on a variety of different mitigation, preparedness, training, and equipment projects and programs for the Emergency Management Program in Lewis County.
And is it because of the legislature's late ending that we're going back to June 1st, 2015?
Pardon?
Is it, we have a the period of date is June 1st, 2015.
Yeah, this grant actually runs from June through July, okay, or actually from July up to June. So it's a split year this is our 15-16 grant that we manage, so it covers 2 of our budget years.
And we got the money later than normal, or this is customary, but since it started in 2015, was it the legislature and it's late, that it ran late? That's because we're getting this.
Yeah, I don't know if that has any effect on this
Okay.
at all. This comes through, this grant actually comes through Homeland Security, washed through FEMA, then through the Washington State Military Department, through the local, which is us. So it's actually a federal grant. Does that answer your question?
It's just the timing of it.
Timing of it.
If it's a state, it usually starts 1 July. And if it's federal, it starts 1 October. And if it's local, it starts 1 January. So
Yeah, so it's
Starts
kind of
first.
it's kind of a headache to manage that and spend it in the way that we projected to. You got to stay on top of this. And we were actually supposed to get this. This was supposed to be approved in August. However, because of the fires, and then we moved into windstorms, and we moved into flooding, we never got it back from the state. So I was getting a little bit nervous, and we just got it last week, and that's why I tried to expedite this process and get it in on one of your hearings. Otherwise, we would have had a little bit more time. But we're ready for it. It's all approved by the state, and that's what you're here for today, for the resolution.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Questions? All right. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda, items 3 through 10, resolution number 15373 through 380. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Now I'd like to call to order the hearing on the 5th 2015 budget amendment, resolution number 15-381. We will first have a staff report, followed by a question and answer period. We will then close the question and answer period and open the hearing for formal testimony. And 3 minutes will be the time allocated, and Carrie will be timing anyone. And those citizens who wish to testify should sign in on the sheet over at the podium. Now we'll start with the staff report.
excuse me real quick. Do you have enough chairs there for your whole staff?
We could make them available, Commissioner. I invite them every time, but somehow they elect to stay back there. Like I say, they cover my back.
Yes. I saw you looking over your shoulder.
I at least wanted them to sit in the front row, but they didn't want to do that either. Oh, well. Good morning, Commissioner. Steve Walton, Budget Administrator. Copies of the detailed budget amendment are available in the front of the room, and there's also a sign-up sheet as Commissioner Fund indicated for public comment. This hearing is for the 5th 2015 budget amendment as represented in Resolution number 15-381 and required by RCW 36.40.140. Notice of this public hearing was published in the East County Journal on December the 9th and the 16th, 2015. Publishing of that notice was also required by RCW. The notice that was published in the East County Journal reflected an increase in expenditures of $2,234,161 and an increase in revenue in the amount of $1,947,183, resulting in a use of overall fund balance, which includes the general fund and all other funds, in the amount of $286,978. Subsequent to the notice being published, as is typically the case, we have changes that occur, and the changes came in additional expenditures in the amount of $2,185,454 and additional revenue in the amount of $1,903,903. With the new changes incorporated, the total budget amendment reflects an increase in expenditures of $4,419,615, an increase in revenue in the amount of $3,851,086, and a combined use of fund balance in the amount of $568,529. The general fund portion of this amendment is a revenue increase of $452,000, an expenditure increase of $430,962, resulting in an increase in fund balance of $21,038. In this amendment, approximately $2.9 million, or nearly 66% of the amendment, is housekeeping associated with the movement of funds from the Capital Facilities Plan Fund 310 to the Land Acquisition, soon to be renamed the Capital Maintenance and Repair Fund 301, for future capital project use. The remainder of this amendment involves revenues and expenditures that are typically seen at a year-end budget amendment and are detailed in Schedule A in the handout at the front of the room. The recommendation is to approve the resolution. Are there any questions?
Questions from the board?
So we're actually, for current expense, we're adding revenue to the bottom line.
That's correct, $21,038.
And most of the other restricted funds was that shift from, what is it, 310 to 301?
Correct, Fund 310 to 301. This cleans up the contents of Fund 310, which is really a restricted fund. Monies in there involve REIT funds, which are real estate excise tax funds, 0.1% for the jail project that we're still collecting. And so those monies are highly restricted and can only be used accordingly. What we did was, the auditor, I have to give them credit, they did a review of Fund 310 and took out the portion of the funds that we're transferring that are not restricted so that we have a clean docket. Fund 301 is money we can use. Fund 310 is money we can use, but in a highly restricted manner.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll open the question and answer period for the public. Anybody out there? All right. We will close the question and answer period. And Mr. Walton, would you like your comments to be incorporated into the hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
We will now open the hearing for public testimony, and we'll read the names from the sign-up sheet. And there's no names. Anyone in the audience have a second thought about testifying? All right, we will close the hearing for public testimony.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the budget amendment for Resolution 15-381.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution number 15-381, which is hearing under the budget agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Madam Chair, with no further business, I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.